Okay, Sandman season one. I like the show. I'm aware vaguely of like a controversy over wokeness, all that jazz, race bending, gender bending. Um, I don't have a dog in that fight, but either way, I don't particularly care when it comes to this because a lot of the time you're talking about people who aren't necessarily human that people are upset um about. But I'm sure feel free to have passion in the comment section because I do tweet a lot about things that I wish were more comic faithful. Sometimes, like Moon Knight, for example, is one of them. So I'm never gonna hate on someone for feeling some type of way for not being comic accurate. But I don't know. To me, boy, never mind. Sandman. Here's one thing I like about this. It just feels like it's a form of fantasy that's allowed to breathe and is more. It feels more conceptual than anything strict. Like again, a lot of these big franchises that we get today. It explores ideas and it makes you think. And some of my favorite episodes are episodes where, for example, a dream meets death, who's meant to be his sibling, and they just talk about the nature of life and death, and his encounter with a certain individual that I don't want to spoil. I haven't seen the trailer for this, so as you know what, spoilers. Who cares? Um, yeah, I do really quite like the world that this is a part of, and I want to learn more about it. Like what other entities? It's almost like modern Greek mythology to a degree. Like what other entities are personifications of different types of phenomena? Is there a is it like an inside out type of thing with Pixar where there's like an embodiment of certain emotions, certain acts? My mind goes to, like, for example, Nemesis, who's the Greek goddess of revenge. Is there beings like that, or is that are there more kind of vague personified entities like a dream, the dream character, Dream King, Desire, you know, other entities, right? Um, One thing I like about this series, through an episode, I think it's episode five or not. I like that. I like the idea that there isn't a strict antagonist in the show. Again, unlike a lot of big franchises that would probably have a big antagonist fight at the end, this show felt like it was using different people who were opposed to Dream, the main character, to inform us about like different perspectives on humanity, on existence itself. So an episode that I love was one with David Thewlish, Professor Lupin, my guy, where it explores this idea of if people were more honest with each other, like up front, would that be closer to living a genuine existence, or would that be just people being impulsive and just leading with the first thing that comes to mind instead of, you know, maybe telling white lies and lying here and there, but trying to, move with integrity for the most part in life. There's even, speaking of, there's even a episode that I love where they go to hell and they're having a back and forth. I love the exchange, the kind of contest scene between Dream and Lucifer, where they're literally going back and forth about this trumps this force of nature trumps this, and this one. I love the idea that I'm guessing this is all based on the original comic itself. That's great. Is this Neil Gaiman? I only watched a little bit of American Gods. I know I believe, is behind that graphic novel or book or whatever is based on. Um, I just like the idea just exploring gods and like larger fantastical forces in nature. One thing I like about the series, Dream, the main character, is not necessarily sympathetic. He is a god in a similar way to like a lot of stories about trickster gods and people who curse people. There's a great example, again, speaking of the Hell episodes, where he meets what's her face, Nada, I think her name was. That I'm assuming she was like a girl from ancient Africa. Who I did some research. Apparently, it's a reference to a volume of Sandman where way back in the day, thousands of years ago, she's part of a tribe who used to worship Dream, I believe, and she falls in love with him, and he offers her the chance to become a queen of the dream world. She denies him, and he flipping sends her to hell. That is the most effed up, but ironically, very from the stories I've read about Greek gods mostly, that's the most god type shit ever, in my opinion. Again, based on the fantasy folktales I've read about Greek gods and other trickster gods, of course he would do some shit like that. And you start to think about the people who are opposed to him, to Dream, the main character, and you think, oh, there is no true antagonist in the series. It's people who don't understand the quote unquote natural order of things, versus someone like Dream, who is kind of rediscovering that based on the events of what happens to him in the show. And people who do, people who don't understand the natural order of things and they want to change things for the better. You can tell they do, but they're possibly going about it the wrong way. But they recognize kind of the unfairness of certain entities, like a Dream, like I don't know, the desire, destiny, what other things I mentioned, various other forces and gods who feel like unfair in their treatment. But the people who are opposing them they don't necessarily have a perfect plan either, as an alternative. I like that. I like that a lot about the series. Like I said, if it was anything else, there would have been like a firm antagonist who maybe at the most would have a sort of sympathetic plan and motive, but at the end of the day, he would probably get thwarted by Dream, or by like with the help of another character in the third act of a film or in the finale of a show. Yeah, like I said, I love the episode of death, the personification of death. I love the episode where they go to hell. Shout out to Gwendolyn Christie for playing a Morningstar. That it was understated, but like I was afraid of her, and it didn't show her to me in any monstrous way. But I was looking at her like yeah, you make me nervous. Which is a good thing, obviously. And also, she had an assistant who her face was so mad that it was hard to look at. It was like, I was watching Sandman with my sister, and she kept laughing whenever Lucifer's assistant was a girl with like a half mangled face, like Two-Face. I could barely make eye contact without yelping a little bit, going, "Oh, sugar!" Like, oh, that face is mad. But I guess that's the point. She's a demon. So good job there with the makeup, the production design. Trying to think of other things I like. I don't know. It's just maybe because I haven't read the source material, so I had to think about it more deeply. As someone who's just a fan of that type of fantasy to do with gods and humans that they're meant to serve, but it doesn't always feel that way. Or they're meant to be kind of, I don't know, saints or guardians too, or it depends on your culture. I just like that. I like that feeling. I think maybe the one thing that I wish I got more of, but again, it's based on my conception of high concepts, fantasy to do with gods and so on. So I wish there was a bit more of kind of like a straight fantasy setting. Like I would love to see a scene. There was a scene with the Fates, from Greek mythology. Again, the way they introduced them felt fantastical, but maybe it's the budget or what they're able to do. It's just I don't know. Certain things just felt like understated. Maybe they just need to get a director who's a bit more artistic with how they show the fantasy elements. Because again, I loved it, but I don't know. Sometimes I can tell that, oh, is this a Netflix budget thing? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't like feeling. I feel that way. It's not the first time I felt that way. Umbrella Academy is another one. I maybe feel that way the least with Umbrella Academy because there's a certain aesthetic that fits Netflix to me. But yeah, I would love maybe if like HBO Max did this. I don't know, someone with a high budget to allow more artistic, kind of surreal expression on screen for these scenes, some of these scenes, but also a studio that would allow for that kind of artistic license and not restrict them at the same time from doing anything that they want to do creatively speaking. I would like that. Also, oh, you know what? One more thing. This irks me. It's not something that is completely upsetting, but it irks me. Joanna Constantine or Constantine, however you want to pronounce it. They clearly gender bended Constantine. As soon as I heard the word Astra, I was like, oh, she's meant to be the Constantine. Makes sense. Because DC. I don't understand why you don't get Olivia Colman, who plays Joanna Constantine, to do a Merseyside accent. Because for people who don't know, Constantine is from Liverpool in the UK. Oh, I believe he partially grew up there. I checked online. He was born and partially raised in Liverpool, and I think in either Newcastle or Northampton, which Northampton is in the Midlands, I think. I forget. Someone correct me. Any experts on Constantine? I wish they would go the extra mile and have her do like the Liverpool accent, the Merseyside accent, you know? Even if it's... Yeah, just go the extra mile. Why can't you do that? It's something that bothers me. I imagine in the same way that some Americans watch certain things and they always feel like everything's in New York or LA. Like there are other places in America. You know that, don't you? But you want to do the majority of stuff in New York and LA. And I'm sure that's changing. But especially the fact that they got Olivia Colman, who plays a big character from the Doctor Who show, or did. And that show in the recent years has been doing more and more to do stuff outside of London. So even though it's still UK based in a lot of ways, it's not just London that they're doing stuff. It's different parts of the UK. And I wish they would have that approach with the Constantine character in the Sandman show. Again, it's a little thing, but it's important to me. Because I don't like that feeling. It's just to sound like a nondescript kind of London accent. That's weird. That's weird. I don't like that. Yeah, that's just me, you know. I don't have too many critiques of the show. Maybe because I haven't read the source material and I don't know what to kind of ground it against, if you will. But you guys let me know down below what you think of the show. Do you think it's too woke, as I keep hearing people say? That to me, it just feels like an easy thing to say, even if I did read comics, the comics, which I haven't. But nowadays this feels like a easy go to go to. So I'll let you guys decide in the comment section. Like I said, tell me if you liked it, tell me if you don't. Like, share, subscribe for more. Other than that, guys, signing off. Salute.